All right, I want to bring on to the program Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery. So he served 32 years in the U.S. Navy as a nuclear-trained surface warfare officer before retiring as a Rear Admiral in 2017. So great to have you today. I want to first get your reaction to the precision and the strength of the American military being able to carry this out and do what no other country would have been able to do with these bunker buster bombs being dropped by B-2s. Your response to everything unfolding.
Well, thank you for having me. And when I look at this strike, it looks very impressive. It is very impressive, but it really is a series of very routine things brought together. That's how the U.S. military is. We take very complex challenges like this and break them down into small, achievable mission sets. So getting a 32-hour mission plan from Missouri, getting refueling in place, practicing the MOP. I promise you, the pilots on these B-2s have practiced the massive ordnance penetrator attack, dozens or scores of times each individually. And then you put that together with the Tomahawk strike, which is something we do fairly routinely from submarines against Isfahan and Natanz, and you bring this all together. It looks very impressive, but this is what the U.S. military is great at, which is taking a series of hard jobs and putting them together into a very impressive strike by doing things routinely. So I am very impressed with it. There was a very specific mission here to set back the Fordo plant, attempt to collapse it on itself. I think 6 massive ordnance penetrators sounds like about the right missions, the right targeteering to achieve that mission. We're really going to have to wait for the battle damage assessment to know.
I want to dive deeper into everything that unfolded at Fordo, but first, just to draw your attention and our viewers' attention to some of these live pictures that we're just getting into NewsNation. This is one of the hit sites there in Israel, and Nes Ziona. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. But one thing we have consistently seen is a stark contrast between the way Iran carries out their strikes and the way Israel does. And, the same thing with Hamas in Gaza and with Israel. In Hamas, we saw them using civilians as human shields. We see Iran striking apartments, hospitals, schools. Israel, we see them taking out nuclear facilities. We see them taking out nuclear scientists. We see them taking out top brass in their military. Talk a little bit about the stark contrast and how warfare has been going so far and what might unfold as things have changed and the war is widening.
Well, you're exactly right. So the United States and Israel would target what I would call traditional military activities. The defense industrial base, air defense sites, airports, military airfields, the nuclear facilities. Certainly the Iranian ballistic missiles are what one would call counter value. That means you're hitting them back just at population areas. As a result, they hit whatever is in that population area, and the vast majority of the time, that's a non-military, non-security related target, like a hospital, like an apartment complex. The Iranians don't have the kind of precision that's necessary to target otherwise, and as a result, really their strikes are would be considered in violation of the rule of war. Whereas the Israeli strikes, as you can see right here, these are F-14s that the Iranians bought from the United States more than 50 years ago, but are still, airworthy, and they're being destroyed on the ground by the Israelis.
All right, and again, I want to get back to what the bunker busters were able to do last night. But if we can first take a look at the roughly 46,900 troops that are in the region, look at our assets there. So they are within striking distance. So Iran has got all sorts of different missile capabilities as far as lengths go, and they've been periodically getting further and further. And now their longest is 1,242 miles. How much of a threat are we seeing for our men and women in uniform here?
Well, certainly as Iran makes a decision about how to respond to this, they could do one of 3 or 4 different things, one of which, of course, was strike Israel, which you've been covering very extensively. Mm-hmm. That's probably the one to least engender an additional U.S. response. The second is this, striking U.S. troops in the range of Iran. As you mentioned, there's about 45,000 U.S. troops in the Middle East. Now, a good chunk of that, about a third, are out at sea on ships. They have very good inherent self-defense against Iranian cruise and ballistic missiles. But the ones that are ashore that you showed in a previous graphic, in Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain, in Iraq, the U.S. has been making rapid preparations to give them better air and missile defense over the last week or 10 days. But they are more exposed than I think the U.S. commander would like. And they have to be dug in and, missile defense, air defense systems flown in to protect them. And that's occurring, but they are at risk. But if Iran strikes them, I believe that's what the president was saying last night. If you strike our forces, you will bring down even further U.S. cost imposition on Iran. And that's where you get into, as you mentioned earlier, economic strikes, further defense industrial base strikes. We're trying to deter them right now by the threat of further cost imposition, probably not by the perfect defensive systems for all those troops.
Right. Well, you got to imagine they're really on their heels and shaking in their boots after what happened last night, taking out 3 nuclear facilities there. Let's take a look at those 3 and talk a little bit about each of them. So Fordo, that's the most critical nuclear site. This is the one where the bunker busters were dropped down. And now if we can take a look at exactly what these are capable of and the difference in what Israel would have been able to do compared to the United States. So the depth of the Fordo facility is 260 feet. So this is where they've got the nuclear facility. And it's interesting to hear the foreign minister say this is all for peaceful purposes. If it's so peaceful, you just need it for your air conditioners. What are you doing to burying it so far under the ground? But Israel's bombs have the ability to go down 16 to 20 feet. Ours have the capability of going down 200 feet. So am I correct that they dropped down one bomb and it got down 200 feet and then a second one came on top of it to get down even deeper? Is that how the mission was accomplished last night?
So when properly practiced, which is I think what happened last night, the first missile goes down, and as you mentioned, they're 30,000 pounds. 25,000 pounds of that is a special encasement, hardened steel that almost drills down to get to that depth, then special fusing that goes off, and then a second missile bomb can come behind it through the channel that it's drilled effectively and do further damage. And so that's how you kind of get this idea that it could impact Fordo. And as you said, a very interesting, peaceful place. Spent a lot of money on digging it deep if it was just for routine, peaceful purposes.
All right. And now if we can take a look at the region in the Strait of Hormuz, the foreign minister was questioned by a reporter there about whether he was considering closing that area. I think it's only, am I correct? It's only 20 miles or something. It's very small, and a lot of oil goes through there. He didn't answer that because he was more concerned about letting everybody know that Iran was going to take military action beyond just closing that. But what would that mean, and how critical is it to the region and the rest of the world?
So that's interesting. I'd mentioned, 2 ways previously they could strike back, against Iran or against Israel or against U.S. forces. The third way is to shut the Straits of Hormuz. But I would tell you, they could shut it with mines. They could shut it with anti-ship cruise missile threats. Some of that can be eliminated by the U.S. or Israel pretty easily. But the mines would be a problem. But here's why I don't know that will happen. The number one country that would be punished by closing the Straits of Hormuz would be China. The second would probably be India, then Japan. Not the United States. We get very little oil from the Straits of Hormuz because of our own domestic production now. We get about 3 million barrels a day. That's very replaceable. So the country that the most is China. China, one of Iran's sponsors. So I'm not 100% sure that's the path that Iran wants to go down.
Got it. Okay, yeah, because Americans are watching and waking up this morning going, what does this mean for me? And that has been a concern. Oil prices, of course. Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery, thank you so much for being available to us this early in the morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.